Welcome to CivilNet. Our guest today is Gurgen Petrossian. He's a lecturer at Friedrich-Alexander-University of Heidelberg and also the head of its International Criminal Law Research Group. In addition, he's the chairman of the German-Armenian Lawyers Association. So Gurgen, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you very much for your invitation.
So there are some weeks where nothing happens, and then there's days where everything happens. And yesterday felt a little bit like one of those days. We have a lot of things to talk about. One of those is we learned yesterday that Yahya Petrossian, who is the head representative of the government's international legal cases, is leaving his post. So people are speculating what's going on here. Does it mean, especially in the context of Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan has offered multiple times to Azerbaijan to mutually withdraw these legal cases? So is that related, or is it something else going on? And will the legal team be weakened as a result of this?
Well, as you correctly mentioned, these are some speculations. We don't know yet the main reason why Mr. Petrossian withdrew from his position. I cannot really say what is the main reason, but generally it will not weaken the team because there are experts in Mr. Petrossian's team, and he really created an institution which is very much aware about our cases, what is going on. I hope that this kind of pressure from Azerbaijan will not weaken our team in order to withdraw from the cases, and we will continue the cases before International Court of Justice and European Court of Human Rights and in other institutions. So I hope that all the experts are still in the front line, in the legal front line, and they will continue the processes for the justice, because this is something that we need. And if we withdraw from the cases, this would be a very wrong decision by our government, and also it will be a betrayal towards the victims, because these cases are not about just for the relationship. It's about the victims.
It's right. It's good to hear the inside, because we on the outside don't know much about the team or all the work that they're doing. We just kind of see the results when they're before the court. So it's good to know that it's a very strong team involved. Now, the other big news from yesterday is that the International Committee of the Red Cross has been asked to leave Azerbaijan. They have acted as the only lifeline that we have to the prisoners there, arranging maybe one time a month phone calls and things. And so, this is a very dangerous moment. What's going on here, and are there any alternatives to the ICRC? How is this going to work?
Well, all international observations were denied of access, of monitoring the trials in Baku. These are as you correctly mentioned, this is the last lifeline that has been cut by Azerbaijan, and this is clear that they are aiming at dehumanizing the whole situation, and also this is a psychological warfare what they are doing. They are trying also to attack the Armenian community, watching the pictures or seeing the defendants before the trial in a very bad conditions. So it's a dehumanization of the whole situation. It's actually an ill treatment towards everyone, because they do not only represent themselves, they represent the Armenians all over the world, independent to the fact where they live. And everyone who sees that, it's an attack against them, against their membership to Armenian group. The withdrawal of ICRC, it's another catastrophic situation. The legal representation of defendants, international legal representation, was also denied of access of entering and monitoring the cases. And we can't really speak about a fair trial here, because it's a clear show trial, a sham trial that is going on in Baku, where the principles of fair trials are not kept. They are frequently violated. The defendants do not have any possibility of having time to understand what are the charges against them. They are torturing them. They are showing them in a very bad conditions. So I cannot really say that this is a trial which is equivalent to international standards or international minimum standards that we have established by the European community. So this is the last way that the Azerbaijanis are trying to torture the whole community, Armenian community.
And the view from Germany, for example, and the international world, I think for years we were always told, you know, kind of before the war, negotiate in good faith, and they'd act like they were two equal partners. But Azerbaijan, through, it's not just the ICRC they're kicking out, but numerous other organizations in the past few days, they've arrested nearly any independent voice, down to the Twitter people. The people that we used to see discussing these issues on Twitter are now in jail. So what is, you know, the view from Germany? What are they saying about how do we move forward with this country that still says it's part of the world, but has clearly withdrawn completely from it?
Sincerely, I don't believe that Germany knows what's going on in Azerbaijan, and international media is also not covering a lot about the trials. I think we are facing very challenging times in the whole world. This is a change of the whole fundament that has been established after the Second World War. The dehumanization generally is everywhere, and only the financial interests are coming in front. So generally speaking, I don't think in Germany, especially considering how many problems Germany has at this moment, and also the European countries that are facing another challenge with the US, with the Ukraine and Russia war, with other problems referring to the refugee crisis, or other financial situations. I don't think that for them it is one of the priorities to look at what is going on in Nagorno-Karabakh and in courtrooms of Baku. But it doesn't mean that we need to stop of reporting of everything. We need to report them. We need to show what kind of violations are happening. But on the political level, I don't see any support from these countries. And I think we need to find another way, and to use especially the judicial mechanism, and especially the national judicial mechanism, to put an attention that these are the violations that have been done. The torture, this is one of the important points that I want to mention, because the torture is equivalent to crime of genocide. It has the same universality. It is accepted all over the world. There's a convention on torture, on prohibition of torture. It's a jus cogens act. It means that there can be no derogation from the convention, and everybody should step in if the torture is being committed. This means that all those persons and participants of the trials, the judges, the prosecutors, the defense counsels, they are actually complicit in the torture happening against the defendants. And while traveling to outside, to European country, the judicial mechanism of national countries should actually start criminal proceedings against them, because the torture is a crime, and it has a universal, and it has also universal jurisdiction over the torture. We had cases in the past where Taliban, for example, were torturing, or even the government of Afghanistan was torturing Talibans. They were arrested in Germany and put on trial because of the torture they have committed at their home. And the same scenario applies actually also here to Azerbaijani officials. So what is important to note, to track their travels when they are traveling outside, and one day they will travel. In order to have a business trip or to participate in a conference. So we need to track them and start proceedings or file a criminal complaints against them in order to put them on trial.
And this leads into the next question. Armenia joined the International Criminal Court a year ago now, and retroactive a few years before that. We all had this, we've had not much we can do and not much to be hopeful about, but this was one point where we felt we have some agency for once. But it's been over a year. Not only has Armenia not filed anything, but now Friedrich-Petrossian is leaving his post, and so clearly doesn't sound like there's intentions to start a new trial. What's going on with that? Why did we join if nothing's happening?
Well, first of all, joining the International Criminal Court is about the protection of the Armenian territory, legal protection of Armenian territory, and secondly, it strengthens also International Criminal Court. International Criminal Court is now targeted from all sides. The US targets, Some member state parties that are member to the International Criminal Court do not really cooperate with the International Criminal Court. This is an example of Italy. There's an example of Germany that highlights that they are not going to arrest Netanyahu, for example. And these are clear signals to the International Criminal Court that it is being targeted, especially the sanctions that are falling over the International Criminal Court. But this means that the states like Armenia, the small states, need to take a step to protect the International Criminal Court and to protect these institutions, because these are the last resource that we have. And as soon as they fall apart, also all small states around the world will face the same challenges as we face. So we need to come and build connections with all these small states together in order to confront this step back from rule of law and step back from all humanity standards that we have established after the Second World War. But how this strengthening is working? So we need to cooperate with the International Criminal Court in all ways. We need to be part with, so Mr. Kyriakosyan's office should be always in contact with the International Criminal Court in relation to everything. Our prosecution's office, our Ministry of Justice, our Ministry of Foreign Affairs, they need to be always in interaction with the International Criminal Court in order to show that we are there in order to strengthen the International Criminal Court. But then the question arises, why Armenia does not take initiative to make a referral over the cases? Well, under this peace negotiations paradigm that we have, it is of course from the Armenian side is not easy way to choose to make a state referral, because it negotiates with Azerbaijan in a good faith. How the Azerbaijan is negotiating with us is definitely not in a good faith. So it means that actually there are ways open for Armenia to start a referral process. But even if Armenia is not able to do this referral because of other outside pressure from Russia, from US, from Turkey, and also from Azerbaijan, it means that other states need to step in, because the current situation that we're facing, this was similarly it was done in case of Ukraine, it was done in case of Lithuania, where Lithuania stepped in for the victims of Belarus, and in case of Ukrainian victims, dozens of states have stepped in order to request from a prosecutor to start investigations in a Ukrainian case. So similarly, it is also important that other states step in for the Armenian victims, because this is not about the case against Azerbaijan. It is about the victims, because victims have suffered because of international crimes. And we agreed with all states together, around 125 states, that International Criminal Court is built in order to protect victims from international crimes. It's not about protecting states from international crimes. It's about the victims who suffer because of crimes against humanity, from war crimes or genocide. So we have cases where other states stepped in also in case of genocide. We have the case South Africa against Israel. We have the case Gambia against Myanmar before International Court of Justice. So these are the examples where the states stepped in, and I think this is the point where the states show their solidarity with victims of Nagorno-Karabakh, victims of deportations, which happened in a mass scale. There is no one left in Nagorno-Karabakh. And it's not, and besides of deportation, there is a clear persecution that's happening against the Armenians. The trials in Azerbaijan, the torture of Armenians that happened before and is ongoing. This everything is a part of persecution that is happening, and that is why the different states, I don't know, it could be Argentina, it could be Uruguay, it could be France, that can really request the prosecutor to start this investigation. And this is urgent, because if this request, if this state referral is not done, then Armenia is again under the threat of aggression by Azerbaijan, especially relating to the southern part. If we don't want to have more refugees going in different directions to Europe, to Asia, to Russia, we need to stop this. And this is something that can prevent another escalation happening. So my message would be to different delegations, to different diplomats, to start thinking of making a referral to the current situation. This referral is not about Armenia, it's not about Azerbaijan, it's about the victims, and to stop and prevent further escalations happening.
Thank you for that. That gives us a lot to think about, and it really shows the importance of this moment. People need to act now. So thank you so much for joining us today. Really appreciate you coming, and thank you all for joining CivilNet.